you don't get what you need at the moment you need it. You usually have gotten it months ago. It may come to you long after you did the campaign. But the
Yeah.
point is, if you are somebody who amasses knowledge,
Yeah.
um, at the time that you're looking for insight, you have enough within you that by the time you filter all that through a strategy, filter it all through a single-minded proposition, you filter it all
Yeah.
through whatever funnel has been provided for you, something
Yeah.
interesting is waiting on the other side.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Radio, and I'm so happy about our guest here. He's the creative director for Densu Creative. He has won a lot of awards. He is recognizable everywhere, even globally. Welcome with me, guys. Shola Mosoro. It's so nice to have you here, Chief. It's so nice to have you
Hello,
here.
pleasure.
It's so nice to have
Thanks
you
for
here.
having me.
Yeah. So for those that are just watching this and don't really know you in depth, can you share a brief introduction about yourself and how you came up in the industry to this point?
So I got into advertising in 2009. Before
Oh, okay.
then, I've been doing script writing,
Okay.
mostly a lot of various creative endeavors, but
Yeah.
advertising seemed like a suitable fit for my skills. Honestly, I only plan to do advertising for like a year or two,
Wow.
but I think that's what most people say when they get it. So, so I did that, and the next thing, the next agency came calling, and the next
Yeah.
agency came calling, and the next agency
Yeah.
came calling. I think that's
Yeah.
been the story of my life so far. Always about the next call. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to end up in an industry where most of my skills came into play, whether it was directing, whether it was writing, whether it was idea generation,
Yeah.
and somehow it has worked out, and here I am, living in the shadow of imposter syndrome, but here we are.
I mean, that is good. So, for when you were coming up in the industry, because I know back in those days, right, it's a bit different from how advertising is now, because of the way advertising has evolved and how everything has been. So, back in those days, what was like the drive for you? What was driving you to, like you said you wanted to stay just 2 years, but now you're still in the industry. What was the thing that kept you going up to this moment?
Okay, first of all, when you say back in the days, it makes it sound like the 80s or 90s. It's not that. Yeah. All right. Uh, what kept me in it was the thing about advertising, especially as it was then, is that when you come into the industry, you're introduced into the whole mythos of advertising, which means you start to hear about things like cans, things like
Yeah,
what other creative people have done, campaigns
yeah,
that govern the conversation in your sector. Maybe you're working on a particular type of brand, and then you see what
yes,
other brands have done abroad or in other countries. And I don't know about now, but back then that felt like a challenge. It felt like, hang on, I can do this. I can come up with this. And
yeah,
a lot of times it required that you do not do advertising like a hobby. It required
yeah,
that you take advertising very seriously and you
yeah,
actually like, because it's a whole process to get a proper campaign out. It's not just what's a great
yeah,
idea. There's still selling a
yeah,
client on it. There's still seeing it through to the point where you have considered not only your agency's creativity, the client's commercial need, but also the audience, the target audience, and what where it
yeah,
is that the need points exist in their lives. So all those
yeah,
type of things, it begins to become a whole specialized side of your creativity. And it's not
yeah,
something you get to let go of when you're good at it. In fact, your original goals become your hobby, and advertising
yeah.
becomes your career.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. So now, let's dive into some of the main reasons why I even want you to be here, right? Because I know you are someone who is very, very good with ideas and how you take idea from the inception even to the end product. And now, when it comes to idea generation, how how would you explain that? Okay, this idea we have, or this idea that this person just shared with me, is actually a good idea that we can scale up. But before we dive into the idea part, I want to take us back a bit to a part that a lot of people don't talk about, except when, oh, let's say they get on a pitch and things like that. And it is the idea of getting an insight and then getting the human truth, getting a very good insight that then leads to your idea, your big idea that you want to keep cascading. How is that process like? Getting the human truth, getting an insight, a very good insight that when anybody sees it, feel like, yes, this person, you really know this target audience, and then your idea is really connecting to it and you're speaking to us.
All right. If it comes to getting an insight, generating some human truth, as you put it, in
Yeah.
the end, it's on the part of the creative, the person seeking it.
Yeah.
Question is, how observational are you? Are you
Yeah.
somebody who pays a lot of attention to the environment, to what's going on around you, and not
Yeah.
paying attention because of a singular campaign, but paying attention as a personality trait and storing up
Oh, okay.
all the knowledge that you are gaining, because you don't get what you need at the moment you need it. You usually have gotten it months ago. It may come to you long after you did the campaign. But the
Yeah.
point is, if you are somebody who amasses knowledge,
Yeah.
um, at the time that you're looking for insight, you have enough within you that by the time you filter all that through a strategy, filter it all through a single-minded proposition, you filter it all
Yeah.
through whatever funnel has been provided for you, something
Yeah.
interesting is waiting to the other side,
Yeah.
right? So the journey to a human insight is how good are you at humanity? How good are you at paying attention? Because
Okay.
um, if you are a person, a guy, let's say you're a man, you're looking to be a father one day, and you say
Yeah.
because of that you owe yourself only the insights of men, male role models, and fathers. Well, you cannot serve when it's time to talk to mothers. You cannot serve when it's
Yeah.
time to talk to a young woman asking questions
Yeah.
about coming of age, right?
Yeah.
So it's really about your own personal study of humanity, your own personal study of life beyond your own window,
Yeah.
and your openness being wrong. Because more times than not, um, there is no absolute truth when it comes to people's behaviors, when it comes to social observation. There is
Yeah.
truth within scenario or context. So when
Yeah.
you are open to amassing as much knowledge, it could be a movie person, you can get knowledge there. It could be
Yeah.
a person who loves listening to stand-up comedy, you will get knowledge there. It could be a
Yeah.
person who commutes in the bus every day, you will get knowledge there. As long as
Yeah.
you're open-minded and you can amass, but then you are now in a better position to generate interesting human truths, insights, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.
Oh, that is very good. That is very good. Now, taking it to the idea stage, when we come up with an idea, how do we take it from, oh, I have an idea about solving a problem, let's say for cancer. How do we take the idea from that particular point to the final result? And what's the process like?
Okay, taking an idea to get an idea, take it to a
Yeah.
final result. Okay, first of all, how well do you understand your medium? Like advertising used to be the traditional mediums of print, radio, TV, or
Yeah.
video if you prefer.
Yeah.
But now the social media and digital space has expanded it somewhat, and
Yeah.
most of these mediums are evolved. And
Yeah.
also, we have insight into the audience within all these mediums that tells you either what their attention span is, etc.
Yeah.
So now you have an idea, and now you
Yeah.
want that idea to engage. Well, how well do you understand your medium? How well do you understand your target audience? Like,
Yeah.
if you are going to do an idea that requires people to sit down and listen, well, then you have to have enough depth that what you say at the very beginning is going to command attention. right? You got to
Yeah.
say something that is so uniquely insightful that people
Yeah.
want to sit and listen to the rest of it.
Yeah.
If your idea doesn't rely on having the audience attention for, like, let's say, a minute or more, then
Yeah.
the question is, how can you entertain them, right?
Yeah.
Or how can you engage them, right?
Yeah.
Or how can you tease knowledge out of them or tease knowledge into them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's almost always a, honestly, in a way, the execution of an idea,
Yeah.
it's a reflection of the person working on it, the creative. Are you a person
Okay.
who greatly enjoys entertaining, I guess? Then you look
Yeah.
for the opportunity to entertain. Are you a
Yeah.
person who, um, and to be fair, the world is evolving. The world is
Yeah.
evolving, and there was a time when people's specialty was, I'm a specialist at long copy. Another person's
Yeah.
specialty was, oh, I'm just really trying to get to the TV. Like, if I
Yeah.
can lead with the TV, the other stuff can just support the TV.
Yeah.
But we live in a time now that I think you've got to be a bit more universal. You've
Yeah.
got to be able to. Sorry, I keep talking from the perspective of copy, and I know you yourself, you live in art. Are you
Yeah.
also in art in a moment or two?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Ultimately, if you respect your audience, then you
Yeah.
know how you need to engage them. And
Yeah.
honesty is everything. If your audience are, in quotes, ignorant, or they really don't care, like, for example, let's say I want to talk to the misogynistic fraction of society, right?
Yeah.
I can't talk to them in a way that I know they will deflect off them. I can't come at them and say,
Yeah.
"Look here, you are a problem." No, come on. Who's going to respond to that? So I have
Yeah.
to find a way to engage them either at a level that they respond to, maybe
Yeah.
a beer parlor voice, or
Yeah.
maybe I can bring the topic from an angle they weren't expecting, so that by the time I land the message, they see it
Yeah.
for what it is, and
Yeah.
possibly even see their own role or complicity in it. But that's
Yeah.
aside. When it comes to art, if you are thinking strictly about art, I'm not talking too in depthly about the message.
Yeah.
You need to understand the journey of the eyes, right? If you are
Okay.
doing art, where do the eyes begin in your material?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times, the rule of thumb is that it's a bit like a nine. People start in the middle, they see a strong visual, they go to the headline, and they come back down to the body copy. But that's
Yeah.
looking at traditional print.
Friends. Yeah.
However, in today's age, we learn rules so we can break them. So a
Yeah.
good artist is thinking of, how can I do this thing in a way that is different from the usual. But different for different sake does not work. That's the reality. Different
Yeah.
has to have an intent. For example, let's say I want people to start with the visual and not understand the visual, then
Yeah.
go to the headline and realize the context of the visual in the headline, which takes the
Yeah.
eyes back to the visual, and then they
Visual.
look for additional information, body copy.
Yeah.
But you see, that is so intentional,
Yeah.
right? That means I create something that is instantly eye grabbing, but
Yeah.
also confusing. And
Yeah.
then that takes you to a headline because what am I looking at? So I go
Yeah.
to the headline, I get the context, I realize, it takes me back to the visual, and I want more
Yeah.
information. Your visual has
Yeah.
succeeded. But it
Yeah.
didn't succeed by mistake. It's how you designed it to succeed,
Yeah.
right? So as
Yeah.
long as one is intentional, you understand the rules before you break them, you're
Yeah.
intentional, you can create something unique. I hope I've not over answered the question.
No, 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 no. You answered it well. You answered it well. Because the truth is, most of us are directors, right? We even
Hmm.
tend to think visually from a visual perspective. When we say, oh, I have an idea, we are not even thinking of, oh, the idea. We are thinking of the executed idea in our mind. When we say, oh, I have an idea, it's the execution. Like, oh, I think we should do it like this, we should do it like that. It's until when we now share the idea with a copywriter or a strategist and then sit down together and say that, okay, this is good, but let's look at what translates to this. because most times it's like, oh, it's the finished work. We are terminals, the idea. But how did we arrive here? How did we arrive at this point? So for now, for art directors, what would you advise? I mean, I know you said it's how you are intentional about you learning, you being observant about your world and everything. So how would you advise an art director who is always thinking from the point of execution to then take a shift and
So
move
always
first
looking from the point of what?
from the point of execution, like the
Okay.
executed idea, now move to coming up with an idea, getting your insights, then you can now execute.
Okay. If I was going to advise such an art director, I will ask them first of all, okay, there was an art director I worked with when I first started.
Yeah,
This guy, he had a tendency, he was obsessed with online galleries. So he'd go and see a visual and say, I want to create that as my next art.
yeah,
Regardless of what is next, what the brief is going to be. He's going
yeah.
to recreate the thing that he's in love with as the next art.
At the next start.
Yeah. So, and I had to
Wow.
work with this guy. So the funny thing was, I always had to like, okay, what I was able to do to compromise because I knew
Yeah,
he was stuck in his ways.
yeah,
I always said, you know what, do that material as option A.
yeah,
Then we'll do option B together in
yeah,
a much more what is the brief saying type of way,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
a lot of times I realized that particular guy needed a visual prompt. Like
yeah.
there are various types of art directors. He was a brilliant art director when it came to recreating, but
Yeah.
he was terrible when it came to creating, like coming up with his
Oh,
own ideas.
yeah,
Now, I wasn't his boss, so I wasn't in a position to teach him.
yeah,
However, what I did was I always went and found engaging visual material that served the purpose, and we'll discuss that material together. So I
yeah,
made him like a co-conspirator in the outcome. I said, okay, no, look, we're gonna have. I think this really gonna be cool. Think about how client will receive it, etc. And it worked. But
yeah,
today, if I were to talk to an art director who seems to be stuck on execution,
yeah.
I'll tell him, and this is what I tell almost all creatives: why is more important than what. What it is you
Oh,
want to put out there is not as important as why you want to put it out there.
why you want to put this out? Yeah,
Typography is going to be cool. Well, why does it work? If you
yeah,
can answer why clearly, then you are on the path to something strong. But if why
yeah,
is something vain, like, oh, because I've always wanted to do typography, oh, because typography is really cute. Well,
yeah,
that's not the basis for executing a solution to a problem because a brief is a
yeah,
problem,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
more times than not, I reel people back from, or I believe people should reel themselves back from the execution
yeah,
and question why this execution works,
yeah,
right? Do you want
yeah,
something that is 95% image and a very small amount of copy in the corner? Well,
yeah,
okay, look at the brief. The brief is saying we want you to inform people about the steps they can take to fight malaria. Your
yeah,
style does not work,
yeah,
right? Or
yeah,
anyway, so on and so forth in that vein. Point is, if you understand the difference between why and what, especially when it comes to answering the brief, you begin to
yeah,
realize you can't start with execution. You have to
yeah,
start with an understanding of the problem and an understanding of your target audience and an
yeah.
understanding of who your client is, their voice, and more before you even begin to think about execution.
Yeah. I mean, that is very good. That's a very, very good answer. That's a good answer. So now, how do you find the perfect balance, right? Let's say when you're coming up with, like, say, a copy line or you want to write something for a client, how do you find the perfect balance between the client, the brand, the target audience, and you imputing your own creativity? Because there are sometimes we do things not because they are not good, but the client to look at it and be like, no, we don't want to speak like this. You guys can rework it. Just do something simple for me, this and that. How do you find the perfect balance to make sure that when the client sees it, we even back it up with every research we've done and they approve and the work goes out and it's creative?
All right. I'll give you my old answer and my current answer.
Okay.
My old answer was that you always do three materials. No matter the brief, you always do three materials. One
Okay.
material serves the immediate and functional need of the client. It's
Yeah.
very functional, it's very simple. The
Yeah.
next material serves your creative instinct,
Yeah.
where you really think as far as you can take an answer. You're like, oh my god, this would change conversation. This would be crazy.
Yeah.
And then the third material is somewhere in between the two. The truth
Oh,
of the matter is, the most growth you can have as a creative is that third material, because not only are you considering you basically created a graph, you created
yeah.
two ends of a ruler. On
Yeah.
this end, there's the client and the
Yeah.
client's functional need. On
Yeah.
this end, there is creativity. You're
Yeah.
serving creativity at maybe
Yeah.
its highest form.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
you're serving creativity, but you're also serving the client's need. That
Yeah.
does not actually reduce your creativity. It just brings your creativity into a bit more maturity,
Yeah.
right? So you're able to deliver something that it's as soon as I look at it, I go, yeah, this is really cool. But it
Yeah.
also says something clearly on behalf of the
Yeah.
client. So my answer used to be do the three materials.
Yeah.
Once in a rare while, the crazy material wins and
Yeah.
magic happens. But because we live in an era of today where there is um, so little time, right? A
Yeah.
lot of times you are working almost like a reaction to a brief. The brief has a need, you don't have that much time, you have to deliver.
Yeah.
I would say that, well, in a sense, if you are good enough, aim
Yeah.
for third material twice, right?
Okay. Okay.
But each time you are doing it, try not to do something you've already done before. So if I've done something that I think is it's a bit transformative, well, I'll
Yeah.
do something. But look, there's no bad communication. Okay,
Yeah.
correction. There's very bad communication. What I mean is that there is no bad effective communication.
Yeah.
Sometimes all the audience needs is show me a juicy burger.
Yeah.
Just show me a burger. Is it juicy? Yes, I want. Right? They don't need you to show like a spiral of something hypnotic behind it. They don't need
Yeah.
you to do an alien invasion. Give me all your burgers now, or else
Yeah.
take me to your burger. They don't need all the time to be
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this guy must have studied Picasso, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes all an idea needs is something simple. In fact, the most creative ideas in the world, at the core of them, are extremely simple.
Yeah.
There was this material I saw once talking about domestic abuse. No, not domestic abuse, talking about sexual violence. Talking about
Oh,
it
okay.
from the perspective, it sounds like a very taboo topic. It sounds like something that, oh no, what would this visual look like? I'm sure it will be very
Yeah.
damning. I'm sure it will be very, like people restrictive. People see it and don't want to look at it. No, the material was talking about consent. And all it did was write the letters no in white, very small in the center of the visual, and the
Yeah.
rest of the background was black. And then at the bottom of the copy, they wrote, I mean, at the bottom of the material, they wrote a bit of copy that spoke
Yeah.
about even the smallest no, like is cannot, even the smallest no, like it's a removal of consent, blah, 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 something like that. Now,
Yeah.
that material was powerful, by far
Yeah.
more powerful than a lot of other attempts that try to show
Yeah.
something, the damage, the after effect, the everything.
Yeah.
That material felt like an echo in the head because it was done in such an effective way. And all it was two little letters sitting
Yeah.
in a white space, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that even simplicity is not bad. Simplicity can be more creative than hours and hours of 3D generation, 3D generated materials that eventually mesh
Yeah.
together to create this unique
Yeah.
concept, whatever. An idea is at the heart of every idea is simplicity. If you have
Yeah.
if you have a very simple idea, then you begin to have a clear journey to how to execute it. The execution may
Yeah.
be more complicated, but the idea will stay simple, right?
Yeah.
So uh, I wonder if I've lost the question somewhere in all this. So anyway, long and short is I would say if the idea is truly strong, it's simple.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of times a simple idea has legs, so it can actually go through all the different mediums. It can serve whatever purpose that the brief requires.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. How or when in the face of you working on your idea, or yeah, when do you know if this idea is award winning? Like, oh, I have this idea, I'm working on it, I'm refining it, and I think this idea is has a potential to be put in for awards and can win an award.
I think the answer to that changes depending if you're a creative director or if you're a creative. When you're a creative,
Okay.
the instinct for this thing can win awards is usually how much does it excite you? Like, how
Okay.
much does it shake you? Does it really excite you? This idea. Do you need to talk
Yeah.
about it with others? Do you need to share it? Do you need the idea to become real as quickly as
Yeah.
possible? Are
Yeah.
you like you have this strong conviction about the idea, and not just that the idea works, but like you want the world to see this idea
To see it.
because it
Yeah.
feels it feels like it's busting at the chains. It's trying to when the idea is really exciting. As a
Yeah.
creative, there's strong award potential. But when
Yeah.
you're a creative director, what makes an idea have award potential is
Yeah.
the liability for the likelihood of impact, the
Yeah.
likelihood that this will have a strong impact, the likelihood that it can generate a strong narrative behind that idea,
Yeah.
right? If that idea has purpose, it
Yeah.
knows what it's trying to change in the world, and then it
Yeah.
sets out to change it, and it's actually effective at
Yeah.
creating a bridge between the problem and its solution. That
Yeah.
is award potential. So,
Nice.
if, for example, you identify that the reason most Nigerians talk loud is because we all have generators everywhere,
Everywhere. Yeah.
right? You say to yourself that, oh, this is a problem. This is why we're all talking at the top of our voice. That's why we go
Yeah.
abroad. All you have to do is hear a Nigerian talking at the top of your voice like, "Ah, that's a Nigerian. Go ahead. That's one of us." Right?
Yeah.
And you say, oh, okay, you want to talk about the importance of privatization of electricity,
Yeah.
right? You simply say, you introduce it as a cure to loud talking, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody having electricity means we'll all talk like not at the normal volume. And that gives you a
Yeah.
campaign, it gets people talking, people are laughing about it. You will win
Yeah.
awards. You
Yeah.
will win awards, don't worry. Now, just a question of how effective was your execution, because you still have to be creative in how you execute it in terms of
Yeah.
visuals, also in terms of you want to do a TV and stuff. But has it met a need? Has it met a
Yeah.
strong, measurable, identifiable need?
Yeah.
If it has, and it's unique in its solution, then yeah, you will win awards. And also, of course, you have to create a strong case study for it. But I'm talking from the
Yeah.
perspective of a creative director. When
Yeah.
you are when you are the creative, a lot of times you love the idea and you want people to see it.
Yeah.
The annoying creative director comes and starts saying, "No, you need to add this, you need to bring this, you need to also
Yeah.
establish that desire, and start talking
Yeah.
about the rationale and things like that." So, not because two of us are trying to achieve the same aim but in different angles. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
when you were answering the previous question for this last one, you gave an example about, now when back then you say, okay, do three materials, but now because, things are moving fast, or the clients,
Mhm.
their timeline, everything, you can do like two of the third option. Now, can we say that with the way advertising has gone from the days where you were younger till now, there's been a I mean,
I'm
you're still
listening.
young.
Oh, really?
there's been there's been a shift, right, in how people, how, let's say, clients will send a brief and, okay, we want you to go creative on this, and now they just send it and, oh, we need it so and so time, we need it fast, you guys just give us, we just want to put something out there. And how do we now let them know that there are some things you want us to do that it's going to take a bit of time other than this timeline, and let us get this thing done because we see a potential with what we are developing, and we really want to do it well for you guys.
Honestly, it's just a question of where are you transferring your pressure. If the client is giving you pressure to deliver a job and they're not
Yeah,
giving you enough time,
yeah,
well, then that means that the outcome, the pressure of the outcome is probably moderate. They're probably going to look at something, okay, it works, leave me down. But if you tell the client that I need more time and
yeah,
the client agrees to more time, the
yeah,
expectation on that job goes up.
yes,
They
yeah,
expect
so,
it to be amazing,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
a lot of times, really, what's going on is a transfer of pressure
yeah,
because the truth is, the client is equally under pressure. The
yeah,
best thing any creative can ascribe towards is a relationship with the client, an
yeah,
understanding, getting along. If the client feels that you are equally a custodian of that brand alongside them, the client
yeah,
feels that you care about the brand, the client
yeah,
feels like the problems are their problems. I can discuss with this person about the problem, not just the brief.
yeah,
Then you've gotten to a point where there is more trust, and
yeah,
you can say to the client, look, I can do this thing this way. I can do it the way you are thinking right now.
yeah,
Or I can try it this other way. This other way is a lot more edgy and will
yeah,
generate a lot more conversation,
yeah,
but it's going to take a little more time,
yeah,
right? Where are you leaning? If the client tells you, this sounds exciting, but I don't have time. My bosses say I must deliver it. It fell through the cracks. I was meant to deliver it last week. All I could buy
yeah,
was 5 days.
yeah,
Then it's just the reality you have to try and fulfill in 5 days. Now, I come from a slightly different generation than the
yeah,
generation of creative today.
yeah,
And the generation I came from, there's no excuse. Nobody wants to hear your excuse. Like, just deliver. Deliver this
yeah,
thing. What's in your job? Oh, your
yeah.
mental health, go and die.
I must have been crazy back then. God.
Well, it was a time when it was like advertising was a job. Creative
Yeah,
people felt privileged to do advertising because it allowed them to stay creative and earn a
yeah,
paycheck. But
yeah,
today's world, advertising is no longer as it's not do or die. I don't know if that makes
yeah,
sense. It's very,
yeah,
do I need this stress? Do I want to do this? You know what? This is not what I thought it would be. You can have someone
yeah.
quit within 3 months of resuming, and the person may quit for a nondescript reason, like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. And you'll be like, really?
I
You
know.
don't need a paycheck? You're hungry?
You're not feeling
Yeah, I
what?
stay with my mom. Feed me. I'm fine. So it's no longer as do or die as
Yeah,
I guess my time was. That's
yeah,
not to say people nowadays don't deserve their flowers. They deserve their flowers because they're probably
yeah,
under more pressure than them. Time
yeah,
has been stripped out of the equation.
yeah,
But that said, back in the day, you want to do this, fine. Here's the brief, get to work. You failed, you're sacked. It's you're justifying your paycheck every month. So
wow,
I guess the people from those days that are still around, they find advertising a little easier now because the pressure has reduced.
Yeah.
But still, it gives you the illusion of I can do this thing in my sleep because you did it in a more regimented way back then, and now
Yeah.
feels like nobody's even holding the sack over your head, and you are struggling like this.
Okay, so what traits would you say you would like to see more? Because you're a creative leader, right? And
Mm.
you're leading like a younger generation, our generation. So what traits would you say or would you advise that can help us in a way that when we come and embody these things, we're going to become really good? Because I feel like when you're really good, it's not even a matter of, oh, how much are you
Mm.
being paid? The money is definitely going to come and
Money will
meet the
follow.
value that you have. But you need to get to that level. You need to build that value. You need to improve yourself. So, what
Mm.
traits would you advise for us to take upon? And knowing that this thing, once you do it, it's guaranteed that you're going to get up there.
Audacity.
Wow.
I repeat, audacity. It's very missing in a lot of young creatives. And the funny thing is, I wish you to think Audacity was a package deal with being young. Like if you are young, you're audacious. But I'm kind of wrong because in today's world, I think it might be social media influence because
Yeah.
we're no longer encouraged to be individual thinkers or individualistic. A lot of times
Yeah.
people are part of a group think. So it's
Yeah.
almost always doing something in line with where everybody else's thoughts are, where everybody else's feelings are.
Yeah.
You should visit Twitter one of these days. So the thing
Yeah.
is, I would say audaciousness creates not only differentiation but also uniqueness because an audacious person knows how you expect it to go, how you expect it to be done.
Yeah.
But because there's a part of him that is rebellious, him or her that is
Yeah.
rebellious,
Yeah.
because within there is the need to express themselves,
Yeah.
simply because you have an expectation. You're expecting it to be this way.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm going to dare to go a different way. Even
Yeah.
if they are still saying the same thing you ask them to say, and they'll go about it in a way that by the time it's done, they're like, okay, okay, that's so if you have a character trait like audacity, or should I
Yeah.
say, call it a work trait if you prefer. If every
Yeah.
time you choose to be creative, you are looking for a way that is yours, then your work would always stand out. I mean, by the way, it's a risky thing because
Yeah, because I feel like you can be audacious and they'll be like, no, 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 we don't. Well, like some, because let me put it like this. Let's
mm,
say I'm given a brief to work on, right?
yeah,
And yeah, we spoke about, oh, I want to do this and that. But then I go and I'm like, okay, I feel like this is good, but I think there's something better that can really, really bring out the beauty
hmm
of this idea. And then I go and I do what is better that brings out the beauty of the idea. I feel like someone who doesn't really understand this concept, right? Of, oh, you being audacious, that's why you went to do it. Especially for people who really, and for creatives, we tend to tie ourselves to our ideas a lot and we don't want to leave it. So they'll be like, oh, why did you go and do this? Oh, we already said we would do this, this, and that. And I feel like it can cause a bit of problem and friction in the process.
okay, okay. Maybe I should clarify a little.
Yeah,
Audacity doesn't mean that you start to ignore process, or you
yeah,
start to ignore the brief, or you start to
yeah,
ignore the agreed strategy or SNP
yeah,
or whatever. It's
yeah,
just within the funnel that you are given. You
yeah,
say, all right, you guys have set the parameters. Now leave me alone. Let me work. Right?
yes,
You
yeah,
go and you do something that, okay, let me give you an example.
okay,
The second year of my advertising journey, I was going
yeah,
to quit. Ironically, when I said I was only going to do it for two
yeah.
years, I
He
was
said
going
he
to
was
quit.
gonna quit.
But I was
Yeah,
going to quit because I was frustrated. Like,
wow,
I was so frustrated. And I was like, I can't, because I had somebody who I was working with that made me feel like I wasn't very bright. Every time I say an idea, the person just, so as I was saying, I like, hey, God.
yeah,
Look at
that's
me like,
crazy.
look at me like, I was, I lived in a lot of painful self reflection. But
Yeah,
somewhere in that, I said, you know what? Um, I'm not long for this industry anyway. I think I'm going to try and do this thing the way I want to do it. I mean, this
yeah,
dude is not listening to me anyway, so I might as well
yeah,
just do it the way I want to do it.
yeah,
And by that, I meant that what I enjoyed about being a scriptwriter was that you got to tell stories, you got to bring a perspective to an issue or
yeah,
interaction that was interesting
yeah,
and etc. There was a whole thing. So
yeah.
now I started trying to do unique storytelling, not just. I think my mistake up until that point was I tried to do advertising in quotes the way you're supposed to do advertising. Like, oh, this is
Oh,
how a TV should sound. This is how a radio should sound. This is how a press
yeah,
should.
yeah,
And now instead, I started trying to do Shola's perspective,
yeah,
right? What's come to
yeah,
worst, you can bring in somebody else's perspective to be the buffer.
yeah.
But on the other side of it, what I discovered was that I began to have my own voice, right?
Oh,
Now,
nice. Yeah,
you need your own voice as a creative. Otherwise, what you are doing is not you. What you are
yeah,
doing is simply like if they invite you, let's assume you want to be an actor today and they brought you into a
yeah,
production and they say, hey, all
yeah,
right, come and deliver your lines. And you spent all night looking at how Ramsey Noah takes his lines, or Ramsey Noah played a similar role, this is how he performs, and then you take
yeah,
a deep breath and you start trying to mimic Ramsey Noah. You are not really acting. You are
yeah,
you are paying homage to Ramsey Noah at best,
yeah, yeah,
right? Question is,
yeah.
how would you take those lines?
Mm.
How would you perform? In this case, how would you take your life experiences, take your observational skills, take your opinion, take your audacity, bring it to the table and create something that only you can create?
Yeah,
Then I think my work actually transformed drastically from that point because clients that normally specialized in reverts, like 400 reverts before a job gets approved, suddenly we're giving instant approval, just check instant. These are some difficult clients, just approved, approved, approved.
yeah.
I'm talking TV, radio. There was a radio I did that
Wow,
they liked it so much they turned it into a TV. I was like,
wow.
okay, okay. And then the irony, interesting irony was the guy who
Yeah,
was in my way that was always telling me, so somebody else speak. That dude was on leave at the time.
yeah,
So by the time he came back from leave,
yeah,
my confidence was so sky high
yeah,
that I knew what I was talking about. I didn't. I was fearless now. I was able, and
yeah,
by the way, it wasn't like I was arrogant. But
yeah,
now, when I say my thing, I was like, if it tells me no, let's do it this way, I'll be like, I will write that version, but I'll
yeah,
also write my version,
yeah,
right? And I'll put it out, and the client will pick what they pick. Now, it wasn't
yeah,
a versus, it wasn't a whatever. It was just a case of I knew my voice now. I knew
yeah,
how I do advertising, right?
yeah,
Over
yeah,
time, the best compliment I received was in the next agency I went to, and that was this was a very annoying person who said this, but all the same, your best compliments come from annoying people. Prepare your mind for that. The person came downstairs one time and said, "Oh, I saw the ideas you guys put forward. Are you the one that put forward idea X?" And I said, "Yeah, that was me. I was already preparing for the fight." The person was
yeah,
like, "I knew it. Your ideas are always very different." And the person walked out, and I was like, "Is that a compliment?" So, in a way, I think finding yourself would also create. It's good for the industry. It's good for creativity. When you have your own
Yeah.
voice, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, that's where growth also lies.
Oh, nice. Because I just to add to that, I feel like when you find yourself, when you have your own unique way of solving problems, executing, writing, coming up with strategies and all, whoever sees it that knows you will know that yeah, I'm I think I'm 80% sure is this person that wrote this thing because I can tell in the way this person writes things. That is why even for like photographers, they have their own unique style of photography. They have a way they edit pictures. So when you see a particular picture, you'll be like, oh, I think this is I think this is Big H that took this picture and things like that. So when you have your own special way of actually doing things, writing, designing, coming up with strategies, it shows in your work.
Mhm.
And the truth is, when people see it, they love it because in a way, you now bring your human form to what you're doing. And
Yeah.
when it comes to writing, you're not writing from the perspective of, oh, a vague or abstract perspective. You are writing from the human, who you are, and how it affects you, how you see it, and how what the solution should be, which is like really, really, really good. That's really, really good. So now, because our time, okay, but before we go, right? Before we go, what would you tell a young creative who just came into the industry to do for the person? Because you mentioned, people enter within 3 months, they feel like I'm not feeling it anymore, this and that, or maybe they are working with somebody that might seem a bit difficult to them. The ideas I'm bringing, this person is turning it down, this and that. Because I feel like even when you're in that situation, you need to develop a thick skin. And because with the way I came up in the industry, everything was still, I know it's not your time, but everything was not like beds of roses. I worked with some people that you will be like, this thing that you did is bullshit. I don't want this. Go and do something better. This and that.
Mhm.
I worked with a certain woman, and she was like, "What's this thing that you guys are giving me? This and that." And then I went back. I did a bit more research. I came up with a concept. When I showed it to her, she was like, "Guys, Toby just told me to shut up with his work," and I'm like, "How did I tell you to shut up?" Right?
Like I
So
said,
I
your
feel like
best
those
compliments come from the most difficult people.
as in as in from difficult people. And I'm like, I think this really helped me even now in my career. There are some things I can do, there are some type of work and things I can take that some people cannot take it because they feel like, oh, it should be it's advertising now, we're supposed to chill, we're supposed to this, no that. So how would you advise someone who is coming in a way that that person can still persevere through these things and then go and come out in the refined process shining?
Okay, the number one advice I give young creatives,
Yeah.
especially those just starting off or those in their first, second, third agency, I will
Yeah.
say don't get frustrated because the journey to getting better, to all the advice, all the correction is frustrating. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. As in,
This is
it feels like I know there are some people that when they come to my office, they feel like,
I'm going to miss your like.
yeah, it's wrong with it. I know. But it's creativity, especially within the industry of the seniors, the juniors, the mid-level
Yeah.
intermediaries, etc.
Yeah.
It's like um, it's it's like an encounter with somebody. It either tells you either how far you've come or how far you
Yeah.
have to go.
Yeah.
My children, there is a 4 year gap between them, right?
Okay.
And when my first child was born, we we were very patient. We took our time. We were like, okay, oh no, no, yeah, get up, don't worry, it's okay, don't cry. Oh, don't do that again, etc. We were very patient with them.
Yeah.
But then they grew up, right? So
Yeah.
we followed their growth, and
Yeah.
at some point, you didn't have to be so patient. And
Yeah.
then the person was better. The person
Yeah.
went from non-communicative to being very verbal. Person went from etc. Then the second child is born. And that second child demands that you should become patient all over again. But the question is, if you on your side get that memo, right? Because if you
Yeah.
look at the second child and you're like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? Because you look at to start, there's a part of you that have forgotten that you went through all this with the first child also.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh God, I have two children. One out of them is just, oh God, that one just frustrates me. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I'm sure it looks a bit like from the perspective of the kid, like, what do you expect? What do you want me to do? I'm still learning. I'm not good at this yet. Now,
Yeah.
it's not that different from a young creative entering advertising.
Yeah.
You get into advertising, and God help you if you're not a wonder kid. If you're not a wonder kid that walked in and just everything you touched turned to gold, you're going
Yeah.
to find that every time you go with your script, somebody who looks at that script will be like, really? You can see from their expression that you're like, oh my gosh. The person's expression is like, hmm. And thank God that we no longer use red biro. Because the guy will just cancel this, rubbish, this one. Who talks like this? Have you seen any of the previous ads? Does this sound like my clients? What's wrong with and their lack of patience, which is born
Yeah.
out of having done it year after year after year after year after year, can feel
Yeah.
very personal to you. Can feel very
Yeah.
personal to you as though, oh my God, this I'm really trash in front of all these people's eyes, or these people are not encouraging. I get it.
Yeah.
And I totally get it.
Yeah.
But it's very important to focus on the lesson most of the time and try
Yeah.
to learn from that. And also, never turn the person who is correcting you into your audience. Always remember who your audience is. Your audience is defined in the brief.
Yeah.
Communicate to that person, right?
Yeah.
If you can make your case with whoever is senior to you. At the
Yeah.
end of you making your case, learn. Listen to what they say and learn, right?
Yeah.
But still, do not forget what your audience is, because in the
Yeah.
end, that's the only yardstick for success, right?
Yeah.
So I would say to a person coming to the industry, be patient,
Yeah.
uh, be a little long suffering. It pays off.
Yeah.
Um, you probably were in your house the most creative person in your house, maybe even the most creative person in your graduating class. But
Yeah.
then you come into an industry where everybody was the most creative person in their
Especially in the graduating class.
you are just another person. Like
Yeah.
it's what I sorry, I like using the football analogy of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Fernando Torres was in a club where he was the best. He went to
Yeah.
another club where he was the best. And then he got to
Yeah.
Chelsea and he was just another player. And it
How's
depressed him.
it?
And he
Yeah.
got depressed. He admitted as much because it was like, if you don't deliver, they just bring on Drogba.
Yeah.
And Drogba will deliver. And then you're
Yeah.
on the bench waiting for them to give you another try. Then you come on, you're overthinking, you mess up, you miss a goal, you go back to the
Yeah.
bench. And you're like,
Yeah.
I am Torres, for God's sakes. Do you know who I am? I am Torres. And they're like, boss, not here, you're not. So
Yeah.
it's in advertising, you might be mommy's favorite, you might be your teacher's pet, you might be
Yeah.
the most likely to succeed voted in your class. But get advertising, you are learning.
Yeah.
Even if you are, I know somebody that is a decorated, celebrated poet, gone to international festivals, delivered on a high level,
Yeah.
performed in front of global audiences. I came to advertising, struggled, and struggled for a
Wow.
year or two and finally left.
Wow.
Like it was rough. Why?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe she came in and met a whole new voice that she had to learn. And you are
Yeah.
this advanced graduated voice in poetry. Now you
Yeah.
have to learn this whole new industry. I get
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's frustrating. But if you enter this business with humility,
Yeah.
even though I also said audacity, humility and
Yeah.
audacity can coexist,
Yeah.
right? You enter
Yeah.
it, you have humility, you would
Yeah.
you will learn. Everything you need
Yeah.
to learn will come to you. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just wanted to shed light on one more thing, and I feel a lot of creatives don't do this enough. Shed light on the
Right?
ability of, and you said it in the first place, the ability of amassing knowledge, especially when it
Mhm.
comes to reading books,
Study.
reading, studying, getting books,
Mhm.
getting articles. You going to look at other things that people have done, even from years back
Yeah.
up till today. Just shed a bit of light to it for them to see the importance of doing these things and how it will really help your work to be better.
You know only as much as what you've amassed. What do you know? You know what you've actually taken in. And when I say
Yeah,
what you've taken in, it's not just previous materials. You can look at previous
yeah,
materials and learn. You can also
yeah,
look at books. You can look at people who have done it for years and learn from them.
yeah,
But it also
yeah,
goes beyond that. You have to take interest in everything. Pop
yeah,
culture is important because pop culture actually influences the people you are talking to. Learn as much
yeah,
as you can about pop culture. If something is
yeah,
trending, learn about it.
yeah,
If a new song has come into the atmosphere, follow it.
yeah,
Like follow all the gist, follow everything. Imbibe so much knowledge
yeah,
that there's a part of you that is bursting,
yeah,
right? Like you have to be hungry. And when I say hungry, I'm hardly a spring chicken. I'm not a young one, but I'm constantly out there. I'm constantly like a
yeah,
movie comes out and the movie is generating interest. I'm gonna watch it. There's
yeah,
conversation following up on some new album. So there's a beef going on. I'll follow the beef.
yeah,
There is a new art style that, for example, I was looking recently at some of the art style coming out of the Scandinavians. They're very good at poster work.
yeah,
You will say I'm a copy guy. I'm not a copy guy. I'm a communication person. Anything
yeah,
creativity that communicates, I follow it. I look at
yeah,
the uniqueness of even fashion industry. I follow the fashion industry. Follow every
yeah,
industry.
yeah,
There's a reason why if anybody comes to me, I'm never at a lack of words to inspire or to give ideas. Why? Because I
yeah,
follow so much, right?
yeah,
If you ingest a lot, you will have a lot to give. If you ingest
yeah,
very little, then I'm sorry, you have just created a very shallow well.
yeah,
Like what you get when you drop your bucket into the well is only as deep as what your well is.
yeah,
So if your well is shallow, well, don't expect much.
yeah,
If your well is deep, well then get excited. You never know what you're going to draw.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being here. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you. And that's it for now, guys. And then I'll see you in the next episode.